This past week, life got a bit heavy, and it affected my inspiration to keep that nice, constant painting practice I spoke about previously. And while I get a little anxious thinking I shouldn't take a break, I also started thinking of ways to gently keep inspiration afloat so it doesn't disappear completely. I think inspiration is something we all chase. Sometimes it arrives loudly, and sometimes you have to seek it through action. Some days it comes from big emotions or from experiences that shaped us. I personally paint a lot from my own experiences, the good ones and the not so good ones, as a way of digesting and processing how they make me feel. It's known that art can be therapeutic, and it truly shows in the results. Painting from experience becomes a way of keeping a record of your life, just like we do with photographs. It also teaches us that nothing stays the way it is forever, everything is passing. I've lived so many different chapters thinking this is it, and it never is. There's always more. Painting becomes a way to keep a memory of our existence. One of my biggest sources of inspiration will always be the lives of other artists, what they accomplished, their struggles, what inspired them, their routines, their vision. In school, I've always loved art history, and it's the first advice I give to anyone. Even to my mom, I always tell her, read my books from school to learn more about the artists and their lives. Start with an artist you know or like. The internet is another incredible source of knowledge. Endless art documentaries, YouTube videos about every artist out there. I personally prefer watching documentaries. I struggle with reading and need images to complement what I'm learning. Channels like Great Art Explained have always been on my top list. James Payne is so well spoken and passionate about the topics he discusses, so a huge source of inspiration for me. Not long ago, I was reading the letters Frida Kahlo exchanged with her mother. Even something so simple gives so much perspective on someone's life. I remember a paragraph where she said that in the new studio apartment in San Francisco where she and husband Diego Rivera were temporarily living, she no longer had to light a fire because it had gas heating. So there was very little for her to do, she said. That tiny detail felt so intimate and relatable to me. I live in a house that asks for human hands to be heated with range fires. And also her relationship with her mother was so tender. She would begin each letter with Mamacita Linda. You can feel the bond through those words. That alone is very inspiring to me. Color and composition are always the main aspects I look for in other artists' work. How they mix their colors, which shades complement each other, how they place each component in the composition, the background choices, the whys behind every decision. And the beautiful thing is that behind every action, there is always meaning. Meaning is everywhere in art. There is always a message waiting to be seen, a need for connection, a reason for the work to exist. Even in college, I had to study artists I initially had no curiosity about because their work didn't inspire me. And in the end, they gave me much more than I expected. Keeping your mind open, even to artists whose practice you might question, always leads to discovering something interesting. I've said many times, Pinterest is my #1 tool for digital inspiration. I keep a board called Painting, where I save hundreds of other artists' works for their composition, their colors, the feeling they give me, or just a base for an idea. Still Like an Artist, a great book by Austin Kleon, but also a sentence that offers a great reminder. Through imitation, through copying, you learn your own way, your own vision. It becomes a starting point for what is already inside you, ready to bloom. And last but not least, writing. With YouTube videos, I've been put in the position to write my own scripts, to dig for words, for feelings and thoughts. The more you release your ideas, the more space you create for new ones. So do your research, do paint, do draw, read, watch. It's all pre-action work preparing you for something good to come.